On September 24th, building the cabin started in earnest. Materials were delivered, and it took me 4 trips with my small trailer to move the majority of the materials from the nearest street corner down the 2-track to the property. Thankfully, on Saturday, Sam, Em, Katie, and Christian were all on hand to help with framing the floor. We're starting to get into fall, so it's quite a pleasant temperature outside to work without getting too sweaty. Sadly, I showed up with camera batteries that were dead on Saturday, so I didn't get footage of the majority of the floor assembly. However, this time-lapse shows the installation of the OSB onto the floor. The floor structure consists of 4x6 pressure-treated timbers that raise the floor deck up off of the concrete footings, a 1/2 inch of pressure-treated plywood to protect the underside of the floor deck from insects and rodents, a 2x8 joist structure with fiberglass insulation in between the joists, some 6mm plastic to act as a vapor barrier, and then 3/4 inch OSB on top of that for the subfloor. The most difficult part of this project was fitting up the OSB with the tongue and grooves. As none of us are experienced carpenters, we weren't sure what is good enough, and we definitely spent a fair bit of time trimming the tongues and grooves to get them to fit. As you can see, my mini dachshund Bruce was on hand to supervise as well as inspect under the floor. One interesting problem that we ran into was that my generator couldn't provide quite enough current to get my compressor started with pressure in the tank. Sam thankfully figured out a way to cheat the unloader valve to get the compressor spinning before it started actually compressing air, and this let us run the air compressor off the generator without any issues. Didn't notice it at the time, but it's kind of funny watching this again. I realized that Bruce really doesn't mind the sound of the nail gun or the saw at all, while Luna avoided the area while we were working as much as she could. Overall, I think everybody had a fairly good time. Christian got a little fishing in on Saturday night. Em did some sketching. Katie and Em did a little bit of a hike on the North Country Trail. And then we did a seafood boil on Saturday night, which was a pretty good time. The next step in the process of building the cabin is framing the walls. This should be done on the weekend of October 2nd. Sam and I are planning on going up and getting that knocked out. Thankfully, the materials are already on site. Thanks again to Em, Katie, Christian, and Sam for helping with the floor this weekend. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.